Yes, this is in the joint program on the science and policy of global change. In 1991, that program was founded, and the goal was to work with industries and with federal agencies to look at big issues like climate change, at that point ozone depletion, and other environmental issues. So we called it global change. So global change means we are changing our economies. We're going from agrarian to highly industrialized. We use lots of energy. We produce these very powerful new greenhouse gases and so on. How can we work with industry to first, so that we understand where we are heading in the production of energy, agriculture, high-tech gases, and again, working with them rather than against them to say, here's where we ought to be heading. And again, it's the same general principle as the A-gauge network, but at a much larger scale. And so that's a very large program now at MIT with about 30 companies that support it. Most of them big multinationals, but the big energy companies, electric utilities, but also agricultural companies now like Cargill, Weyerhaeuser. They are very concerned about agricultural emissions, and even companies like Nike, one of the more recent ones, where they are concerned about their sourcing of the materials that they use in manufacturing their clothing products. So it's now a very broad range of companies, and some of them have been with us for 20 years. Yes, we work on trying to look at the lowest cost way to lower greenhouse gas emissions in the various industries, and both agricultural and of course energy industry and so on, and the high-tech industries. So we look at ways of lowering those emissions and give advice on that front to the companies. The companies, for the most part, do not have a big in-house team that understands the economics and the science of these issues. The joint program is called joint because it isn't just scientists. In fact, it's a remarkable collaboration between economists and then people who understand energy technologies and agricultural technologies and environmental scientists. So that's why it's called joint. And in some ways it's unique, and the central tool we use is called the Integrated Global System Model. And literally it's a very big and detailed economics model coupled with an equally detailed environmental model that includes climate, air pollution, water quality and quantity. We have agriculture being simulated in the model, as well as industries. Well, one discussion we're moving into and beginning to do more and more research is to look at the fact that some of the solutions to lowering carbon dioxide emissions get people looking very much at biomass-based fuels. So these are biofuels if they're liquid, and biomass if it's woody products that are then to be used for electric utilities. So we want to understand, when you add that demand for biomass crops into the mix for energy, what you're trying to do is replace the oil, coal and gas slowly but surely with biomass in that particular case. What are the implications for the competition for arable land around the world of having to grow food crops? We have forests, and forests is an important part of the wood industry and so on. And we have fertilizers that we use. Fertilizers, when they are added to the soil, produce greenhouse gases. And then there's the competition for water itself is looming bigger and bigger. So we're studying that in great detail now as one of the major thrusts. And that's of great interest, of course, to the energy companies that say, ask themselves, is biomass-based energy, what are the pluses and minuses when it goes to very big scale, which is what would be needed. And for the agricultural companies, they're asking a simple question, well, should we go into the biomass fuel business. Right? So big multinational agricultural companies are very interested in this. Is this going to be a big industry going forward? Do they want to be part of it? So again, it's that type of high-level advice, strategic advice that we can provide the sponsors. And that's one of them, and the other one is another big discussion that we've begun, and a lot of calculation, is to ask if it is feasible to keep the total amount of warming from pre-industrial temperatures to, say, 2100, to keep it below 2 degrees centigrade warming. There's a lot of talk about that. That was discussed in the Paris meeting of the Conference of the Parties for Climate Change as a sort of a vision for the future. What came out from the 190 countries pledging was a step in that direction, but only a step. So we're asking, on what time frames and how can we do it at minimum cost to reach that particular goal. So that's one that we've begun discussions with, including some of the energy companies as well, that are internally examining that. How would they go from being a fossil fuel company, dominated company, to an energy company that has wind, solar, biomass, sources of energy, all designed to be near zero emissions.